where he said that we should wait for 2027, and if we want to contest for an election. For us, I could speak for Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. For us, we are not politicians. For us, we are unionists. It is the right to protest is the fundamental right of every single Nigerian. So we don't have issues with protest. When need be, people must exercise their right and people must protest. So in terms of waiting till 2027 to enter into politics, I don't think that is something that we could dabble into, because I, as an individual, I'm not a carrying member of any political party. Of
course, NLC too have been reacting to what President Tinubu has said, and they said that President Tinubu, we are not after your job, but they said the government should be true and be sincere in the implementation of the letters and the spirit of the...
So guys, in the last video I posted, we saw how Tinubu openly issued a threat against NLC president and Nigerians. Right now, NLC has replied Tinubu. In their words, they said, the use of divisive language and vague threat against labor by President Tinubu is unacceptable. It is incumbent upon all stakeholders to foster constructive dialogue and collaboration in addressing the myriad challenges facing our nation. Now, guys, this is just by the way. I want to show you guys extensive interview of TUC, Trade Union Congress. Guys, if you see the way these guys responded to to Pablo Escobar in strong terms, I was really impressed. I need you to see the video. I'm going to be showing it to you now, but please, before you watch this video, you got to like it to the end. In their word, he said, we are not politicians. It is our right to protest. Guys, I want to show you the news in detail. Please watch the interview. I like the way this guy really humble Pablo Escobar and tell him truth to his face. This video is a must watch. Please, you have to share it until it gets to the ear of that guy that wear diapers in Aso Villa.
To the protest we saw on Tuesday, although the NLC did something. They cancelled the day 2 protest. But the president doesn't look like he was happy about the position of the labor. And the president said, look, you guys are not the only voice of Nigerian people. And this is how the president put it in his own words. Let me remind you of what he said.
The labor union should understand that no matter how much we cling to our freedom and rights, to call for strike within 9 months of an administration is unacceptable. If not, maintain peace. They are not the only voice of Nigerians.
That is the position of President Bola Tinubu yesterday before he went to Doha in Qatar. But again, what exactly are the issues here? There is an MOU, 15 items on that MOU. The Labour has accused the government of not being sincere about the implementation of that MOU, which borders on some of the implications of the removal of fuel subsidy on day 1 of President Bola Tinubu in office, and it has escalated so swiftly. But at some point, when NLC said that it was going on a 2-day walking warning protest against some of these issues and what it tagged hunger in the land, the TUC came to town to say, we were not informed. You didn't carry us along, and we're not going to join. There was a press conference on Monday by TUC saying they won't be joining that protest tonight. Let's speak with the president of the Trade Union Congress, who is also the president of Pengasan, Comrade Festus Osifo, joins us live here in our studio in Abuja. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Shehu. Good evening to you. Good evening to Nigerians.
Let me get your reaction to what President Tinubu said.
Yes, first, because I listened to that comment yesterday where he said that we should wait for 2027, and if we want to contest for an election. For us, I could speak for Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. For us, we are not politicians. For us, we are unionists. It is the right to protest is the fundamental right of every single Nigerian. So we don't have issues with protest. When need be, people must exercise their right and people must protest. So in terms of waiting till 2027 to enter into politics, I don't think that is something that we could dabble into, because I, as an individual, I'm not a carrying member of any political party. What I'm interested in is the welfare of my members, and indeed the entire Nigerian masses. So what the president said, for me, it is alien to us, because the right to protest and the right to strike is that of the workers, because there are condition precedents. The fact that you are going on strike or you are going on protest, there are things that have led to it. So those fundamental issues must be addressed.
Some of these criticisms or comments about Labour wanting to go into party issues or going into an election or going into a political contest must have, there is a context to it. And there are those who believe in government that whatever the Labour is doing are political tendencies, and that your movement or the ideology or some of the things that Labour have done is to frustrate the government because of political interests that have been drawn into this.
Well, like I said, like as I've said earlier, I would respond on behalf of Trade Union Congress. For us, we look at issues decently. We have members that are cut across the senior staff category in the oil, in the country, from oil and gas to civil service to hospitality and all that. So we look at issues decently. We don't look at political considerations. Politics is not part of what we do. And I can assure you, Shehu, that in everything we do, we don't look at political considerations, but the issues and how they could be resolved in favor of the Nigerian workers and indeed the entire Nigerian masses. So that accusation, for me, it's alien to us.
Unlike the NLC, TUC is not part of Labour Party.
I know. When you say there's a distinction between TUC and even NLC and Labour Party. Like, for example, everywhere in the world, you cannot ask workers not to participate in politics. It's not, it's not there. But what we are saying is that, none of us are the executive members of Labour Party. None of us are executive member of any of the political parties at all beyond Labour. But you know, when an election is coming, you have the right to support a candidate. For example, you could see both Joe Biden and Donald Trump, they are scrambling for the union endorsement in the United States today for the election that they are going to hold in November. So those political endorsements will always come. But again, after elections, when governance comes, those things are dropped 100% when the leaders emerge. And we will now be responsible for holding such leaders accountable for any policies that of government that they have brought to bear.
So TUC did not endorse Labour Party in presidential election, did you?
You mean the candidacy of Peter Obi?
Yes.
No, TUC organ formally, no TUC organ formally came out, because we did not, because when you say TUC endorsed, it's supposed to be the National Executive Council of TUC, and such thing never happened. So National Executive Council of TUC never had any meeting to endorse any presidential candidate. The presidential candidate, they invited us for conversation. So we were invited, both labor centers, we were invited by Peter Obi. We went there. We were also invited by the current president. Coincidentally, it was all in the same venue. So both centers also went there. Then it was led by Ayuba Waba, president of NLC. Then I was also president of TUC. So we went there for conversations. But formally, no organ of TUC endorsed any political party or candidate.
To give us an understanding, you were together with the NLC, the TUC and the NLC, and we refer to all these organs and unions as the organized labor, but you backed out. And there are those who are of the opinion that you sold out.
Wow, Shehu, first, you know, I will come to the issue of backing out or not. First of all, you know, you introduced me as the president of Pengasan as well. So when I came into position as president of Pengasan, so myself and the president of NUPENG that I met 2 years into his tenure, we sat down and we developed relationship on how to work together. That issues of mutual understanding, issues of mutual interest, that what we need to do is that either we call a collective neck together, or the leadership, before we go into any issue, we sit down, we dissect, we understand the issues, and we move together. In the last 4 years, being the president of Pengasan, there is no single issue with NUPENG because we work together seamlessly. When I came in at well in July of 2022, Comrade Ayuba Waba was the president of NLC. Both of us also sat down and we defined how we will work together, and each of us respected the pact. So when Comrade Joe Ajaero came in, president of NLC, what happened was that we discovered that there are a lot of discordant tones. So that now led to a meeting. And in that meeting that we had, we both discussed on how we could move forward. We both discussed on how we could interrelate. And two things came out from that meeting. One of them was this, that issues of mutual interest, that both parties will come together, the leadership, we will discuss them, and we will point the way forward. Then we will now go to our respective NEC, then inform our respective NEC, then NEC as well. They can modify each of these, then we progress. Then the second thing that NLC also proposed, the Secretary General of NLC now said that another way we could use in resolving issues like this, issues of mutual interest, is that we will call a joint NEC section. So this was in September last year. So we had that understanding. We now said, at the long run, we have to develop an MOU. So we moved on. As we did that agreement in September, when we now got to November, the issues that happened to Comrade Joe Ajaero, President NLC in Imo happened. You remember I was in your program. So when that issue happened, we activated the agreement that we reached between myself and my NAC members, National Administrative Council members, as well as the leadership of NLC, as led by the Deputy President, the President of Maritime, President of NUT, President of Medical and Health. Three of them, wonderful individuals. We sat down together and we defined what should be done to react to that brutalization. That led to a joint NEC. We had a joint NEC, we took a decision, then we now went on protest initially, then later we now had that 2-day strike, if you could remember. So that our discussion worked. But in this case, Sheung, both of us came together. We issued an ultimatum. The 14 days that was in that ultimatum was the brainchild of TUC. We were the ones. In fact, I specifically requested that we have to add ultimatum to it. So that ultimatum was our brainchild. So we issued the joint statement. After issuing the joint statement, naturally, when you issue an ultimatum, what you need to do is that if you issue a 14 days, you wait. After 11 days, you will now check and see, have they complied to it? If not, then the leadership was supposed to now meet, review where we are. Then after then, take a decision, we call our collective NEC. But we were shocked. We did not even know that NLC had called NEC 6 days into this ultimatum. So all we saw, the same way you saw it in the media as a breaking news, that was how we saw it. We said no, that this is not in line with the agreement that we reached in September, that we activated in November, when Comrade Joe Ajaero was brutalized in Imo. So when that now happened, we felt that no, this is not the way to go, because we had an agreement. So after that, we now wrote a letter to them. That what happened? Initially, we spoke on phone. They said that no, that this is not about the ultimatum, that is just to protest hunger. But we said that we've already agreed that whenever we have issues that concerns both, that we have to synergize first before anything. We now also learned that the NEC of NLC, the mandate that was given was that after this NEC meeting, go and synergize with TUC. That was the directive from the NEC of NLC, that the members of the NEC told us. But at the end, no synergy, nothing. They went to the media, made the announcement. So for us, that was
the word on the street is that TUC, by your leadership, has sold out.
That is what I've explained to you now. That in this, you know, you said something earlier, so that we opted out.
It's not the case that you sold out. It's a case that you were not carried along.
I'll just explain exactly what happened to you now. You see, when you have, when you say somebody opted out from a process, it means that the person was in before. It means that there was an agreement to do something. When there is an agreement to do something, at the last minute, you will not say, I'm not doing again. That is opting out. Then you can use the word sold out. But in this scenario, there wasn't any agreement to do anything. We did not have any conversation. Nobody even mentioned it to us that this is the direction to go. That conversation never took place. So as long as that conversation never took place, we never opt out of anything. If there was an initial agreement that let's go for protest, then we now say we are not going for that protest. You could call that opt out, you could call that sold out, you could call that anything. But in this scenario, there was no understanding at all. In fact, there was no discussion that could have even led to any understanding.
So there were meetings on Sunday and on Monday with the federal government, hoping to be able to stop what that street demonstration. Was there any lesson that could be learned from those meetings that show that government is committed to aligning or fulfilling or executing the spirit and the letters or the 15-line item in the MOU?
Yes, Sheung, you know, initially when we, the reason that TUC pushed that there must be an ultimatum at the initial stage that led to the ultimatum that was issued on the 9th of February was this. When we signed that agreement in October 2nd precisely, so there are low-hanging fruits in that agreement. There are things that government should do. So we kept watching them. It got to December, we kept reminding them. Because what we do, we don't just sign agreement and we go and sleep. We sign agreement and we keep pushing the relevant organs of government and the relevant institutions to act. So what now happened was that after we pushed, something now adding by January, the Minister of Labour came to the TUC's office to pay us a New Year courtesy visit. When she came, we told her that this is going to snowball into an issue, that this must be resolved immediately. So now, she now said, what are the issues? We now said the issue of the wage award. It is just 1 month that was paid. Remember, the agreement was signed October 2nd, but wage award was supposed to be backdated to September. So only September was paid. November, December, October, November, December, and January was not paid. So a lot of things in that MOU was not done, most especially the low-hanging fruit, before we issued the ultimatum. But immediately we issued the ultimatum, characteristics of government. They now started running from pillar to post. So that was when, within that 1 or 2 weeks, before I came to this studio, and even yesterday, I had a conversation with the president of Association of Senior Civil Servants. Association of Senior Civil Servants is it's an affiliate of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, responsible for civil servants between grade 7 and director cadre. So I asked him the issue of wage award, where are we? He confirmed to me that within that 2 weeks that they have paid up to January. Then also the president of Statutory Corporations, that is also an affiliate of TUC. So I asked him, President, where are we on this subject? He confirmed that some people have received in December and January. What we now said was that why will government wait for us to issue ultimatum before they will do what they've agreed to do?
So the ultimatum worked?
Yes, to some extent. For example, visitation to refinery. Initially, I mean, we said this is a low-hanging fruit, that we can visit the refinery and ascertain the status, except you are hiding some things. They now told us that, okay, we can. So within the 14 days lifespan, they sent an invite for us to visit the refinery. So because I'm also the president of Pengasan, so I have a lot of information about the refinery. I recused myself and I asked the deputy president too of TUC to lead the delegation. So a 3-man delegation from TUC went to the refinery to ascertain the status of maintenance. Then the issue of Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria. Sheung, you remember that we led a protest in September last year in Lagos regarding the issues bordering on Ritian. When we led that protest, you know, there were a lot of issues that came up. So it was part of the MOU. And as we speak today, Sheung, that particular one has been fulfilled. The office of Ritian has been opened. Ritian that was hitherto banned in Lagos, they have allowed Ritian to operate. The executive has been instituted, and as we speak, that particular subject has also been resolved. But there are some contentious areas. For example, government told us that as we are today, that they have they are subsidizing fertilizer. This we cannot prove 100%, because what we have asked is, okay, at best, what they can do is to show us documentation that they have subsidized fertilizer. But the proof to that, we will not be able to establish it. Then the issue of CNG, as of today, government has explained to us all the things that they have done, but we told them that we don't care of all those things that you have done. What we are interested in is to see those buses. What we are interested in is to see the kids, because it's not for them to tell you that they are on their way, procurement processes and all that. We are not really interested in that.
Are you at home with the timeline the federal government is giving as to when the buses will arrive?
I know. Our expectation was that the buses should have arrived before the end of the year.
But they said, the minister was there and said, look, these buses are not on the shelf. and it's not easy for you to order, the manufacturers say that these buses will not arrive until several months afterwards. Do you agree with that position?
Shehu, you know, before you bring about government policies, these are some of the things you should look at. Okay, I want to remove subsidy. I want to bring exchange rates together. What are the fallout on all these? These are the things that we were shouting at the beginning that government should have done before going ahead with some of these policies. But as pressure group, if government tells us that they are bringing those buses in May, we will tell them no, that the buses must come now. Because our responsibility to pressure them and to get them to act.
But then, let's look at it. With what we have now, the ultimatum has expired. It's past 14 days now.
Yes, correct.
So what is the position of organized labor?
Yes, so on that, before I come to that, Shehu, there's a question that has been coming up. What was done was in national interest. Yes. The direction that we always like to provide in TUC, and I will tell you one thing that we have done in Trade Union Congress of Nigeria that a lot of people may not necessarily be aware of. You know, the end of all these is how do we end the hardship? That is the result. That is the end. To achieve this, there are several means to achieving that. One of the means could be protest. One of the means could be strike. One of the means could be conversation, dialogue. One of the means could be meetings and pushing. You know, so it's a toolbox. So you pick all these depending on what will work. For you to, I've told people, we have had institutions that went on strike in Nigeria for 8 months to 1 year. What was the result that was achieved? Because the measurement of the success of the tool that you deploy, it depends on the result that you have achieved. For example, you know that at a particular time, when Naira was devalued, when they devalued Naira, we were watching. We saw that the price of AGO was moving. The price of AGO was going to 1,000 Naira plus. And we knew that PMS, being that government said that they have devalued, the price of PMS will also move. So part of what we did in Trade Union Congress of Nigeria was that we met with some representatives in government and we suggested something to them. That there are things that you can do necessarily, that it may not really bring back subsidy, but your accounting book will not necessarily carry subsidy. So they asked what was that. We now suggested to them that the Naira that they are currently giving to you is at a particular exchange rate. And that exchange rate today has been everybody says today that Naira is undervalued. Even CBN governor in his monetary policy committee meeting also said that Naira is undervalued. We now said, for you to say Naira is undervalued, it means that there will be a fair value for Naira, the real value for Naira. So for us, we checked all simulations internationally and locally. We realized that the real value of Naira is about 650 Naira to $1. So we now suggested that, okay, government, why can't you be allowing NNPC to assess dollar at about 650 Naira per dollar? You are not subsidizing. That is the real value of Naira. And today, that is exactly what is happening today.
We need to close now.
We still buy PMS. That is the reason we still buy PMS at about 600 Naira plus, depending on the part of the country that you are. So that is a very big plus of one of the ways, one of the tools TUC are deployed to be able to achieve that.
We need to go now. I just have 30 seconds or less. I'm being told in my ears now that I need to go. I'm saying, what is next now after the expiration of the 14 days?
Yes. So for us, what is left clearly is those issues that we have put out there. They said that the issue about AGO and diesel, that the VAT for 6 months, that they have also achieved that. It is left for us to look at all these issues, and then we'll not take a decision. But in all these, we looked at it that the issues in that MOU can no longer, that MOU was since October, a lot of things there can no longer solve the problem today. So as TUC, we sat together, we carried out some research, and we now came up with a 15-point solution that we think could work. And this, we're also going to impress it on government. So beyond what is there in the MOU, we are also going to push for this new 15-term item, these new 15 solutions that we propose for government to implement. Knowing that when implemented, it will solve the plight and reduce the plight of Nigeria so that the result, it is not about the tool you deploy, so that the result at the end of the day would be better off for Nigerians. Thank you so much.
So 90% implementation is not correct?
No, it's not correct for us.
All right. Well, we need to leave it at that because we're totally out of time. Thank you so much, President.